Good morning. I want to look at sometimes things in the Bible are very hard to understand or are very cutting. I want to look today at the way Jesus reacted in front of the Pharisees, religious leaders. In Luke 11, beginning at verse 37. Now, it's really interesting here. Can you imagine you be invited to dinner by people and they're actually out to sort of try and trick you, but the invitation, you go into their house or go into the place and sitting down, and then the conversation getting really hot. I wonder, could you swallow the dinner? Or it didn't end up very good. But the way Jesus spoke, he just cut through all this here, and I find it very challenging. So we'll look here at the sort of religions against righteousness against culture, against rituals, So righteousness against rituals is a very good definition of it, So we'll look here how Jesus reacted and how the Pharisees reacted, Okay. Verse 37 of Luke 11. As he was speaking, a Pharisee asked him to dine with him. So he went in and reclined at the table. So you can imagine them all sitting at the table, Jesus down there, and everybody going to get their dinner, etc., etc. When the Pharisees saw this, he was amazed that he did not first perform the ritual washing before dinner. But the Lord said to him, "Now you Pharisees, clean the outside of a dish, but inside you are full of greed and evil. Fools, didn't he who made the outside made the inside too? But give from what is within to the poor, and everything is clean." So what he's talking here about, it's not the show outside that matters, it's inside. Sometimes, I think of a cup, and after it's tea many times, it gets stained inside, and it has to be cleaned at the inside. So the problem is, with us, it's not the surface that counts, it's the inside of the heart, And that's what Jesus is going to hit the nail on the head here, big time. Woe to you Pharisees. Now, if you see the word woe in the Bible, it means trouble will come. That's a good interpretation of it. You give a tenth of mint and root and every kind of herb, and you bypass justice and the love for God. These things you should have done without neglecting others. Woe to you Pharisees. You love the front seat in the synagogue and greetings in the marketplace. So these guys liked recognition. They loved recognition. And that's the thing that you've got to watch out for, And it's not the type of thing you should be doing. Woe to you. You're like unmarked graves, and the people who walk over them don't know it. One of the experts of the law answered him, "Teacher, when you say these things, you insult us too." So the penny was actually dropping with these religious guys, these leaders, Then he said, "Woe also to you, experts of the law. You load people with burdens that are hard to carry, and yet you yourselves don't touch these burdens with one of your fingers." So in other words, they were telling people they had to do this, they had to do that, they had to follow this, they had to follow that, and they were putting heavy burdens on the people, but there were no examples themselves, And it goes on to verse 47, he says, "Woe to you who build monuments to the prophets, and your fathers killed them." So again, "Therefore you are witnesses that you approve the deeds of your father, for they killed them, and you build their monuments. Because of this, the wisdom of God says, I will send them prophets and apostles, and some of them will be killed and persecuted, so that this generation may be held responsible for the blood of all the prophets shed since the foundation of the world." So in other words, what was the end result? The prophet, all the disciples got put down. These religious leaders hounded them, stoned them. So there's something wrong there, isn't there? From the blood, verse 51, from the blood of Abel to the blood of Zachariah, who perished between the altar and the sanctuary. I tell you this generation will be held responsible. Woe to you, experts of the law. You have taken away the key of knowledge, and you didn't go in yourselves, and you hinder those who are going in. So I'm telling you, watch out for this. If you know the Lord and want to follow the Lord, don't look at the outside, look at the inside, and surrender your life to Jesus. Verse 53. Then he left there, and the scribes and the Pharisees began to oppose him fiercely and to cross-examine him about many things. And they were lying in wait for him to trap him in something he had said. So it's powerful stuff that there, It's the Lord is so truthful and hitting the nail on the head. So be very careful. It's righteousness you follow, not rituals. Righteousness, the word actually means to do the right thing. Rituals is just ceremonies that don't take effect inside at all. They're a load of nonsense. They're not recalled or required whatsoever. So be careful in looking out for that there. I say it's not by your suits, it's by your fruits. You'll know them. So may the Lord bless you today. Bye.